Hi, I'm Victoria Lee, and I'm doing discussion 3 for HN531. Describe the needs for creating a women's shelter that provides medical services, shelter, and vocational assistance. You would need to collect a variety of data, including demographics, incident, which is the number of domestic violence cases in the area, police reports, hospital records, to gauge the prevalence of violence against women, service utilization data, health, employment, qualitative infrastructure data, which is availability of suitable properties for shelter location, cost estimate for establishing and running the shelter and services, legal and policy data, which was existing laws and regulations that could affect shelter operations, funding sources, and grant opportunities. A comprehensive and integrated service approach that addresses immediate needs while focusing on long term empowerment seems most promising for women needing shelter, medical care, and vocational assistance. Evidence suggests that programs that combine emergency response with empowerment and capacity building strategies are effective. Critical components of an effective program could include immediate provisions of a safe shelter to protect women from violence and homelessness, access to quality health care, including reproductive health services to address both immediate and ongoing medical needs, vocational training and education to provide women with the skills needed for economic independence, legal aid and advocacy are needed to ensure women's rights are protected and they have access to justice. Psychological or psychosocial support to help women cope with the trauma and rebuild their lives. Many programs emphasize the importance of a holistic response that meets immediate needs and empowers women to take control of their lives and futures by combining emergency assistance with long term support and capacity building. Women can transition from vulnerability to resilience and independence. Community stakeholders involved in the women's shelter typically includes nonprofit organizations that focus on women's rights and domestic violence prevention, local government agencies that provide social services and funding, healthcare providers who offer medical and psychological support, law enforcement agencies that work to ensure the safety of shelter residents, legal services to assist with legal matters and protection orders, educational institutions that can offer training and awareness programs, local businesses and philanthropists who can provide financial support and resources, volunteers and community members who contribute their time and skills. To bring these stakeholders together to create a women's shelter, I would suggest the following strategies: establish a steering committee, form a core group of representatives from each stakeholder category that guides the project, and community needs assessment, which is conduct surveys and research to understand the specific needs of the community. Developing and implementing a program designed for a women's shelter is a commitment to ensuring the safety, security, and empowerment of women that it serves. I have some initial steps the team might consider. One is assessment, conduct a thorough evaluation to understand the women and the needs of the community. Two is community engagement. The community's involvement is not just significant, it's crucial. By engaging with them, we empower and build resilience. Three is GBV risk mitigations. That is integrate gender based violence. risk mitigation into the shelter programming to reduce vulnerabilities, particularly for women and girls. Four would be program design. Develop a program design that is flexible and responsive to the assessed needs and risk that should include considerations for privacy, access to basic facilities, and the overall well being of the shelter residents. Five is policies and procedures. Establishing clear policies and procedures to support the program's goals. It also includes guidelines for staff conduct, confidentiality, and data protection, capacity building, train staff and volunteers on GBV response, shelter management, and other relevant topics to ensure they can effectively support the program. Six is monitoring and evaluation. Set up a system for monitoring and evaluating to track the program's progress and impact. This will involve regular data collection on critical indicators, data analysis to identify trends and areas for improvement, and using this information to make informed program design and implementation adjustments to or as needed. Seven is collaboration. Collaborate with other organizations and stakeholders to leverage resources, expertise, and support for the program. Number eight is sustainability. From the onset, consider the shelter program's sustainability. This includes planning for long term funding, community involvement, and integration into local systems. Some considerations would be the mission alignment, practical support, community value, sustainability, diversity and inclusivity, legal and ethical considerations. Establishing a successful women's shelter requires collaboration, support, and service to those in need. One other point that I thought would be interesting is women's shelters that are LGBTQ plus supporting within the community. Statistics on domestic violence in the LGBTQ plus community shows that these individuals experience domestic violence at a higher rate than heterosexuals. The types of domestic violence in the LGBTQ plus community are physical violence, affects 20% of victims, threats and intimidation impact 16%. Verbal harassment occurs 15% of cases, and sexual violence affects 4% of survivors. One out of every 9 cases of intimate partner violence involves the use of a weapon. Understanding the unique elements of abuse in the LGBTQ plus community is crucial. For instance, the threat of outing a partner's sexual orientation, gender identity can be used as a tool of abuse. So I just kind of wanted to add that in because mostly when you think about women's shelters, you think about the women and their children. But does anyone really consider the LGBTQ plus community? Because that opens up a whole new avenue for domestic violence. And some women or transgender, they might need shelter as well, and having to deal with, what is a man, what is a woman, what is, a child, whatever the age is. They should be included in a domestic violence shelter. I have met a few men who had actually been victims of domestic violence. And when that happens, where exactly do they go? So that's just my little 2 cents. So thank you for watching. Bye.